Realizing she couldn't do it alone, Ginny wrote to a social worker.
Hi Les, my son is 19 years old and my husband and I adopted him and his brother. He was 3.5 when he came to us and was an adorable child whom I loved to death. As he was reaching his teens, my husband and...
She's writing to Les Twentyman, who has more than 30 years' experience working with troubled youth. They arranged to meet.
It was heroin, but now it's methamphetamine. And the sad thing about it is it's filling our prisons up, I had a petrol bomb thrown at me 2 years ago by a woman.
Les and Ginny agree Tom urgently needs to move out of the house he shares with other meth users. Ginny is trying to find her son other accommodation. Until then, she has to persuade her husband to let Tom move back home. But given their rocky relationship, she doesn't know if he'll say yes.
The thing with meth is it's been sort of peddled to the young people that it's going to improve their energy levels, their sexual ability and all sorts of stuff.
Les Twentyman believes young people like Tom could have been stopped from turning to ice. He wants the government to dedicate more resources to put youth workers in schools.
The evidence we've got is that kids who have fractured educations or early exiting education are the ones that are more likely to fall into the path of drugs. If you haven't got a youth worker to make that contact with the kid in the first place, how's that kid going to access all those programs and projects?
His organisation, 20th Men Fund, runs a successful basketball program for vulnerable kids, keeping them off the streets and high on sport.
We've got coaches here off the rails when they're 15, now they're 23 and they're at university and they're working part-time for our fund. That's where you see the successes. Children I know have been in families where there's been ice-addicted parents, suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder because of the violence, because of irregularity of their life. And what we try to do in substituting is to have them involved in a range of sporting and recreation and drama activities that fill that isolation out, or pack it up and get some disciplines and structures into their life. These kids are very much at risk of falling into the clutches of drug cartels.
A few days later, I received good news. Tom's father has agreed to let him come home after meeting him for the first time in a year.